Welcome back to Jews for Jesus. This is the third part of Arabian Judaea. In part 2, we have discussed the evidence from biblical archaeology against Kamal Salibi's claim that the biblical lands are situated between Saudi Arabia and Yemen. And that raised the question of how reliable is the biblical narrative if it is here and there supported by archaeological evidence. A further example of such evidence is the Deir Allah inscription about Balaam the son of Beor, which was found in Jordan and dates back to the 9th century BCE. Its importance is that it mentions Balaam the son of Beor, the man who was a seer of the gods. The same name, Balaam the son of Beor, is mentioned in the book of Numbers in chapter 22 to 23 in the story of the talking donkey. So here we have an example of a name of a person with similar properties being corroborated from extra-biblical sources, namely archaeological evidence. The problem with this evidence is, though, that it dates to the 9th century BCE. The book of Numbers, however, describes the event in connections with the Exodus, so it makes Balaam the contemporary of Moses from the 13th century BCE. So here we have an example that a person which is named can be attested independently, but it is exactly this evidence that points to an anachronism within the Bible. Now, archaeologists have found plenty of evidence for the existence of biblical northern kingdoms of Israel with the kings of Omri and Jehu. On the other hand, there is nothing much speaking about the kingdoms of Solomon or David. That made Israel Finkelstein, an Israeli archaeologist, conclude that the Bible exaggerates the achievements of King David and King Solomon and diminishes the achievements of the northern kings like Omri and Jehu. This is sufficient to illustrate that the biblical narrative is far from accurate at times. However, it is also sufficient to illustrate that the biblical events, if happened, then they happened in the geographical settings of Israel. Does that mean that the findings of Kamal Salibi are worth nothing? Does it mean that the overlap between the place names in the Bible and the place names in the Asir province of Saudi Arabia are plain coincidence? I don't think so. But the conclusion that the biblical Israel is in fact to be found in the border region between Saudi Arabia and Yemen is simply wrong. However, one could speculate that the origins of the stories, that this is to be found there. It also may be that all the Semitic peoples have originated in this region and have carried the names with them to the places they settled. I hope that watching this series raised your curiosity about the history of the Middle East, and I hope that you will share your thoughts in the comments or make even read your responses. I'm looking forward.